Judy, for being with us and agreeing to be part of the podcast.
Thank you, Farah. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How about you?
I'm good, thank you.
Can you tell us more about who you are and what you do, and a little bit more?
Firstly, I'm a mom. That's what I am. You know, my role in life changed when my children arrived. So I'm a mom, but on a professional level, I'm a sleep consultant or sleep therapist, a sleep coach, and I work with families all over the world, helping them establish healthy sleep skills so that their children, babies, adults can get the quality sleep they deserve for their health, well-being, and sanity.
Absolutely. And having went through that journey with you, I can personally tell how that improved not just my own well-being, but seeing how well my boy's development has been. So, for those who aren't aware of what sleep training is and what to expect, when can one start a sleep training?
Okay. It's funny because we talk about sleep and people know me as a sleep trainer, but I really don't like the term sleep training. But I'll tell you why. I'll tell you
All
why.
right.
It is training, but because when your baby arrives in this world, okay, I say to parents, they are a blank canvas. Your baby arrived here plain and just waiting for you to just grow them and nourish them and teach them all these wonders. So, actually, from the point your baby arrived here, you did start sleep training. It just depends on what you taught them. Okay. So, with
Wow.
myself, yeah, I refer to it as teaching the baby independent sleep skills. Okay. Because the training started, whatever you taught them, you started. So, with this, we're going to teach them a different way.
Beautiful. And one of the things that I personally, and I was completely honest with you when I first reached out, is I've heard so much about the cry out method and the the side effects of letting babies cry and how it could impact their emotional state and their well-being and all of that. But with my experience with you, I realized it can still be very, very beautiful. And a huge part of that, honestly, is the way you articulated it, the way you've put it into perspective for me as a mother. Because no parent wants to hear their child cry or upset or any of that. So, can you tell us more about that and how you were able to manage not just the child's or the baby's sleeping habits and teaching the parents, but allowing parents to realize and as you rightfully said, the investment that they're putting into their children and themselves?
Mm. You know, and I always remember the day you came to me because I know you were quite nervous, you were anxious, you didn't know me, just what your friend had told you about me. And I always remember talking to you the same way I would talk to anybody who contacts me and saying to that parent, you're gifting your child with the most beautiful gift that you will ever gift them with. Because the first thing I say to parents is sleep is a basic human need. So you have to change how you look at it. And once you change your perspective, then you will start to see a whole new world opening up.
Mhm.
So, firstly, it's a gift. And every parent wants to shower their children with gifts.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're gifting them an approach that they can get their quality sleep, which is a basic human need. Now, how you present this gift is very dependent on what route the parent decides to go down.
Mhm.
And there are a lot of methods out there. I'm not the first sleep consultant, and I wouldn't be the last. there are a lot of methods out there, and everybody has their own approach. But to me, as far as my program goes, is I do not advocate cry it out.
Mhm.
That's the first thing. And I really detest that term because I always say, what are they crying out?
Mhm.
Yeah. So, yes, some parents will think, I'm being asked to leave my baby in a cot to scream and I can't tend to them. That's not what I advocate. I'm a mom first, but I'm also a sleep consultant. And I have to look at things factual and
Mhm.
from a scientific perspective in order to guide my clients. Now, when it comes to teaching a baby healthy sleep habits, you have to consider a lot of things. I always say to my clients, it's like you're building the perfect puzzle.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pieces that have to slot in for us to get this beautiful picture at the end of the journey. So when I work with families, it's very one-on-one. I say to clients, my job is not to come in and put you down as a mother or a father or make you feel inadequate. My job is actually to empower you. So you learn how to communicate with your baby, learn how to read the cues, which you will know with little Hamad, you know. I think he was what, 2.5 months old?
Exactly. Yeah. And to me, that was very shocking because with my twins who are now older, they're almost 2 years old. I was so afraid to take
Yes,
that step. But seeing and hearing from my circle of mothers, the benefits of starting early and not waiting till they're older, as we did with the other with my twins. But it had a very huge a positive impact, not just on me, but on Hamad, on the whole household. So I
exactly.
want to understand more from you. Did you start this journey of sleep consulting before or after you became a mother? Because I can only imagine how difficult it must have been.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, I'll tell you my story, but what I want to say is going a bit back to that is with Hamad, if we use him as an example, is when I work with clients, we look at what did the baby feed?
Mm.
Is mom producing the milk? How much milk are they getting if you're using a bottle? What is the baby's wake windows? What's the room environment? We covered what are you dressing him in, Farah? Is the room dark enough? So there's all these aspects. But when I ask the parent to then cross the bridge, I always say you're crossing a bridge, you're going to the other side, and it's a land full of lovely goodness and manna and
Yes,
all
it
these
really
beautiful.
is.
It is, you'll never want to go back because it's funny because I always say, I know I'm talking about sleep, but once you wake up to this gift, you don't want to go back to sleep and go back where you were.
So true. That is so true.
You will never go back because your baby will thrive and you will thrive. But yes, it is teaching them. Of course, I'm very upfront about crying. You can't expect a baby to just get in a cot and say, okay, you've got Judy's program, let's go, let's do it. you know they're going to ask you questions, and
Yeah.
this is what I say to families. Crying is a beautiful gift. When your baby was being molded and being briefed and being told how he'll survive those first few months, years, he was told, I will give you this gift. And with crying, you will let them know if you're hungry, if you need a new nappy, if you're not feeling well, if you're tired.
And that's
Yeah.
why, Judy, honestly, the way you see things, the way you put things into perspective is just so beautiful that it automatically, at least with me, put me at ease. Because I remember, for example, I asked you about the 4 month sleep regression that
Yes.
most moms is like the absolute nightmare. And you said something that's beautiful. And I don't want to say it, I want you to say
You want me to say it?
it.
I say to you, no, Farah, it's a progression. I call it a progression because your baby has been in this training program from when they arrived of, I will rock you to sleep, I will give you a dummy, I will hold you, in the bed next to me, or I'll put you in the pram. So as they're getting older, that little baby is going to a very good school. He is the best student. Remember, he was a blank canvas.
Yeah.
So as he's approaching 4 months, when sleep cycles really do evolve and take shape. So yes, there is, if you look at it, regression, because sleep cycles will change.
Mhm.
But that baby has now progressed and become a master, that they're graduating. They're telling you, I've got the certificate, I'm wearing the t-shirt, I know how we roll, you know? So yes, but no, but when I work with families, we go through all that. And you know that even like when I said goodbye to you,
Mm.
I sent you the going forward toolkit that covers all the changes to come.
It really does. And it's it's one of the topics that I personally realized that although we are training the baby, but it also plays a huge impact in my mental well-being as a mother, because if I'm comfortable enough and confident enough that my child will sleep through the night, maybe the first 2 3 nights I wasn't able to sleep because the habit is still there.
Yeah,
But then it just feels things are being put in place. So
yeah.
from your experience, have you seen that as an outcome or a byproduct of sleep training?
Definitely. And I'll answer the question you asked me about how I got into this, because that is a very big, that played a huge role in why I did this. Um, my story is, which will answer your question as well, is I always call it in another life. So,
It feels like
because
that
four
someday.
children, I worked in the city. I used to work in the corporate world, and I ran contact centers. I was head of customer service because for quite a few large organizations. So when I got pregnant and I was preparing for my baby, and I read so many books, and I had my baby shower and people came and visited. One of the gifts I was given was some very wise words from my sister-in-law, which was, once you have the babies, just kiss goodbye to sleep. So I was like, what do you mean you just put a baby down and they sleep? I don't get it. Because at that time you don't look at sleep the way you look at it now. So my daughter arrived, Jana, she's my firstborn. And at the time, I took the maternity leave, and I thought, yeah, I manage over 200 staff.
Yeah.
I'm going to manage this baby, and she she's going to get into a routine. I'm prepared. So she arrived, and the story was, she had very severe reflux. And I'm not just saying it, because I've been doing this now for 10 years. I've worked with hundreds of reflux babies, and I've worked with those where we think it's reflux, but actually it's tiredness, which we can talk about in future.
Wow.
Okay? Because the digestive system will be impacted if you're not getting good sleep.
Just a whole nother
So
universe.
exactly. So she did have severe reflux, because at 6 weeks old, she refused to eat for 3 days, Farah. She
Wow.
she would not go near milk. I used to put the dummy, and then she'd suckle on it, and I'd quickly take it out and put the bottle in to trick her.
Wow.
What mother wants to watch their child not eating? You
That's
know, there's my baby's not sleeping, but when someone tells you, Judy, my baby is not feeding,
true.
it's very painful. So
Wow.
after 3 days, I was on my knees. She was 6 weeks old. And, people were telling me maybe it's hot. She doesn't want to eat. I thought, how does a 6 week old know it's hot outside?
I would have assumed they would, but okay.
Yeah, maybe it's hot. She doesn't need to eat. So I ended up in A&E. I say to my husband, in fact, we were visiting his sister at the time, who lived an hour away.
All
And I
right.
said to husband, we need to go back, go to A&E. Took her to A&E. She screamed. They thought she had a blood infection. Turned out she was severely allergic to the milk. So once I got her comfortable, now the problem was with all this discomfort, the first 6 weeks of her life were very sad. I can only look at it like that, because this baby would scream the whole day. And if she wasn't screaming, she was sleeping, but only for like half an hour, 40 minutes. Then wake up screaming. Now,
Not
I
easy for
wasn't,
you or for her.
and I wasn't a sleep expert at the time. I didn't have my family, because unfortunately I don't have a mother to call on, or at the time a sister. So it was purely me. Judy, why is she crying? What? I don't know anything. So once I'd sorted the milk, she still continued waking. She was smiling because the belly was happy, but she continued waking. And I thought, hang on, I'd tried everything, the dummy, and I talk about cot safety,
Yeah.
but I had brought her into my bed, which is another topic. And one night I woke up on my knees, and I remember saying to God, please just give me 3 hours of sleep. If you can't give me midnight to 5, just give me 3 hours of good sleep and I will do anything. So anyway, and then I looked at it from her perspective, her eyes.
Yeah.
And I thought, if I'm so tired, how is this baby feeling? She's 7, 8 weeks now. She cannot be enjoying this. So from looking at it from her perspective, I decided I'm going to change it, if not for me, for her. And that's when I started researching a lot. I spoke to doctors, I spoke to health visitors, and in all my research, reading, talking, I came across the program that I felt very comfortable with, and it really resonated with me. But she was based in Canada.
Wow.
And actually, I remember as a mom, the other lady I found who completely, I agreed with what she was saying. She actually used to do a program which was aired here in England called Bringing Baby Home. I don't know if you've come across her, Tracy Hogg. She's the creator of Easy Approach, and she wrote the book Baby Whisperer. So I Googled her because I was gonna pay her anything. Just come, we need sleep. And to my shock, she'd passed on. And I thought nobody can ever help me because the one woman in the world is not here. So anyway, I came across this other program and I took a chance. I remember phoning my husband at work and telling him, Rick, we're going to pay this woman. I can't do this anymore. You have to work. You can't help me with this endless night shift. I need you to be able to get good sleep because of the job he does. You're going out, you're responsible for a lot of things. You can't be concentrating on poor sleep. And as a mother, it's affecting my mental well-being. It's affecting my relationship with my baby. And overall, it's affecting all of us.
Yeah.
So I took a leap of faith. And do you know what? By the second night, so like you, Farah, with little Hamad, my daughter, the second night, she slept 8 hours.
It was a miracle.
It was a miracle. It was a miracle. And I just wanted to run out and stop any mother out there and just tell them, look, please, I know that you can change things. So the story goes that, by the time my daughter was 4 months old, she was sleeping 11 to 12 hours every night.
Wow.
My husband had moved back to the bedroom. I was in a very happy place, my mental well-being. I got pregnant with my second one.
And the cycle continues.
And the cycle continued. So I had, by the time Jana was one, I had Chloe. So they were a year apart. And then I decided to go to Canada and bring this to England or to the world now. And I learned. I went and trained, and 10 years later, I'm still doing it.
And it all started with realizing how your mental state was and what needed to be done to solve it. And now, see,
Exactly.
10 years later, you're helping people from all around the world. And inshallah, many, many more to come. But it's thank you. Thank you for sharing your story. And thank you for opening up to myself and to our audience. But it's always a warm place in the heart, hearing from you, understanding how from something that felt so dark in the beginning, first time mother, by yourself, baby's not sleeping, you're not sleeping, to putting together something that is truly, truly, and this is from a personal experience, it's changing the mother's well-being, the family's
Yeah,
well-being, the little baby's well-being, and as a ripple effect, possibly the wider community that they're part of. And
exactly.
and it just takes those little techniques that we can learn. And as you said, it doesn't have to be unpleasant. It doesn't have to be sleepless nights. It doesn't have to be filled with guilt and worry. Because as we were talking a few days ago, it's as many of the moms that do actually reach out to you or any sleep consultant for help, there's a lot more that are still too afraid to take that step. And understanding the perspective of most importantly how it started, because it's coming from a place of passion. It's coming from a place of um, pureness, and to understand better what to expect when you go to a sleep consultant and how to deal with certain environments, and understanding that it's a holistic thing. It's not
Yeah.
just the baby, it's the baby's environment, it's the family's environment. And I think all of these are very, very um, important things to highlight. And just before we close, I want to open the floor back to you and see if there's any advice or any tips or anything at all that you'd like to share.
Yeah, you know what I always say to people, and I was thinking about this morning, is when you're in caught up in that routine and you're so caught up in this vicious cycle, it's like an avalanche and you can't stop it. And every night in the middle of the night, no one is in that room with you. When you're there as mom, are there with that baby, and you've got all these thoughts going through your head, and you're saying to yourself, no, it's a sacrifice, it's what I have to do. Yes, Mother Nature intended it that there is a point, the first couple of months, and again, I work one-on-one with families, but yes, your baby will need night feeds, of course, we're not disputing that. But with those night feeds, there is also windows your baby needs to sleep, and they can do it. And there is a window where the baby will get, and it's most babies, it's case by case, but once they're over 3 months old and over 10 pounds in weight and they're thriving, your baby doesn't need to keep waking up for these endless feeds. And you know that, Farah. So please, as a mother, you must be open. When someone comes in to help you, they're not there to put you down or make you feel like a failure. They're there to empower you, to support you, so that when you're not spending that middle of the night hour with all this negativity going through your mind and self-doubt and self-pity, but now you can start getting, baby is getting good quality sleep, because that's always my client. But side effect is you're getting your good quality sleep when you stop worrying about baby as you go into the program. And with that, the end result is happy mom, happy baby, happy mom, happy husband. Everybody's mood starts to change. And with great quality sleep, you will improve your mental health. I This week or next week on Monday, no, on Tuesday, I'm actually starting a mental health week awareness for a local school. So I do a lot of talks in schools as well, talking direct to the children about sleep quality because of the effect it has,
Sorry, go ahead.
because of the effects poor sleep will have on mental health. It's not just on the mom, but how is the dad feeling about this broken sleep? How is the child feeling about broken sleep? What are the side effects to their mood, to their relationship with food, their relationship with the nanny, the grandparents? It takes a village to raise a child.
It truly
So,
is.
you know, so once you help a baby sleep, you're helping your whole family's mental health and physical health.
Wow. And just one question. You said you're doing awareness sessions in schools. So you work
Yes.
with an age group higher than just infants or newborns or
Oh my gosh. Oh, whoa. I work with all age groups. I work with newborn, 10-year-olds, 16-year-old adults. And yes, I do a lot of talks in a lot of schools. Obviously, now because of COVID, I'm doing them via Zoom. So, yes, I hold school assemblies and I
wow.
talk to all age group from early years, from the little 5-year-olds.
That's
And we talk about what they like about sleep and what their thoughts are around it, to the 10-year-old who's using an iPad too much. We explore the effects of technology on sleep. So, yeah, I work with a lot of schools and organizations with their employees.
and I really hope we get
So,
to continue having these conversations because as you mentioned, there's so much when it comes to sleep. Today we did talk about infants and newborns and the impact of better sleep for them and how it impacts their mothers and their mothers' mental well-being. But hopefully we can have more episodes where we talk further and deeper about the impact of good sleep for us as human beings in general.
yes, there's so much to talk about.
There really is. And if people want to know more about you and know what Judy does and how to reach out for any sleep consultation, how can they do that?
Yeah, they can do that. My website is www.babywinks, but the winks is with a Z. So WINKZ, wink, wink, sleep.com. So www.babywinks with a Z.com. My Instagram handle is at babywinks with a Z, or I'm on Facebook, Baby Wings Consultancy. And I'm international, so I work with clients all over the world. We
Mm,
do this initial consultation via Zoom. I do send them a questionnaire, as you know, so I get to know a lot more about your child, because not every child is the same. I mean, you've got three and
true.
you've got the twins, and we saw how they're very different
Yeah,
personalities.
that's so true.
So, yeah. And then with that, I do a 2-week program. It's a 2-week program. And honestly, once you cross the bridge on night one, you start to see the light.
That's so true. And from personal experience, I can tell you when you first told me it's 2 weeks, I'm going like, how much can be done in 2 weeks? You know, like they're like, but it's only 2 weeks, and they're however old. But honestly, those 2 weeks have changed my life. And I want to
Oh,
thank you for being part of our journey in that. And I want to thank you for taking the time today and sharing with us what you do and shedding some light on the importance of sleep training, not just for the baby, but for the mothers and for us all. Thank you very
thank
much.
you
This
so
is
much,
great.
Farah.